Bill Harris and
Vera Harris.
okay. And where do you live?
And
Go ahead.
Andrews, Texas.
And how long have you been here?
No.
Wait a minute, let's see. I've been here since 23 now, 23 from,
1923?
It'll be 65 years.
Okay. 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 The next question Mark Houghton wants to know is, okay, Bill Harris, where were you born?
Stonewall County, Texas.
In what year?
1936. I mean 1836. I'm sorry,
1896.
There you go. Let's see. Mother, when were you born?
I was born in Oklahoma, Cushman-Hottock County, in 1907.
Okay. Okay. How many brothers and sisters did you have, Daddy?
I had 6 brothers and 4 sisters.
Okay. And Mother, how many did you have?
I had 4 brothers and 5 sisters.
Okay. Okay, how did y'all celebrate Christmas when you were kids?
Well, sometime we got with the neighbors, had Christmas dinner. As far as Christmas trees and things like that, I can remember one there in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And it was a holly tree with the red berries on it, and we popped popcorn and trimmed it with popcorn.
And did you get gifts of any kind?
Just, I got one little, Jewel and I got a little doll that Christmas.
Jill's your sister, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Kirsten's, and I can remember of ever getting.
And did you, after that, did you get gifts most of the time, or
No.
fruit, or anything like that? Oranges?
Oh, we got oranges, apples most of the time.
Okay.
And
What about you, Daddy? Did you ever get, what was Christmas like for you?
I don't remember ever having a tree. We got oranges and apples, a stick of candy.
Okay. A lot different than nowadays.
goodness, they have more on just every day going to the store, and we ever thought about Christmas and all of our growing up. They get more going to the grocery store than we ever got in all of our growing up.
Another thing, we never did know what we got for Christmas until the next morning. They show it now at night.
Oh, uh-huh.
That's wonderful. We know what we had.
On Christmas Day, you
Yeah.
you saw what you had, not Christmas Eve.
Mhm.
Okay. And how many years of school did you complete, Daddy?
I got up to 8th grade.
Okay. And like, did you go different times of the year? Did you have to work around, like working in the field and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so like you went from when to when?
Christmas
Well,
after
lots of
Christmas.
times don't go about 6 months out of the 9.
Uh-huh.
It's about 6 months long.
Okay.
That's about
Same
the
with you?
Mhm.
Okay. And like you went to a school that had one classroom, right? And everybody,
That's
all
right.
ages,
That's right.
all ages were in there? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you study?
Arithmetic, geography, spelling, reading,
It's history.
history.
How did they teach the little ones and the big ones? Did you teach
Their
them?
teacher was just busy from one, she'd have one class and then go right on to the next. She didn't get no breaks. And then we had little recesses during that time, when, one in the morning and one in the evening.
Okay.
And then it's back. If they had arithmetic, while everybody had their arithmetic.
Okay. Okay, like if you did something wrong at school, what did she do to punish you?
I never did do nothing wrong. Mother and Dad said they'd whip us when we got home if we got a whipping at school.
Okay. Same
The only time I ever done anything wrong, my sister was talking. And I tried to get her to turn around, not be talking, and she didn't, and I slapped her. And I sat in the corner.
Okay, sit in the corner. Uh-huh. So at home, when you did something wrong at home, you got whippings.
Bet you will.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What did you used to eat? What kind of food did you used to eat?
What kind of what?
Food. Food.
We had pork all the time, pork and chicken.
Uh-huh.
And I can remember my daddy killing one beef when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have ways to take care of it. And when we would cook something and had it left over, the next morning, we'd boil it over right early in the morning. And that way, it would keep for dinner.
So you didn't have refrigerators to put things
no,
in?
no.
Anything that you had could spoil real fast?
Mhm.
I don't know if it's picking me up or not. Hope it is. Okay, and you had your fields and your gardens that you grew all your
Yeah.
vegetables
Mhm.
and watermelon.
Watermelon, cantaloupe, beans and peas. And we raised our own potatoes and sweet potatoes and mashed potatoes.
And corn.
Yeah.
And then you canned it, right?
No,
You
Mama
didn't?
didn't. I don't remember Mama canning stuff.
Oh, really?
No, they didn't have no way to can it. It was, I remember one time there in Oklahoma, they canned beans instead of they put vinegar in them to make them cheap. Of course, tomatoes, well, they, you could can them and they're cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as beans, they had put vinegar in them to make them cheap.
Okay, and like in the chores that you had to do, who did the cooking and who did the cleaning, and how did you decide who did what? Mostly the girls were inside, right?
Yeah, they done the housework. We done the outside work, the chores.
What the outside work consists of?
Feeding the hogs and horses, cows.
Milking, doing the milking.
Yeah. So it, of the girls inside, how'd y'all
Yeah.
decide who did what?
Well, most of the time, I guess we all worked together, each. And of course, those days, you carried your water. You'd have to get your bucket and run downhill and bring a bucket of water up the hill,
Oh.
there in Oklahoma.
Was that the girls' job?
Part of it, because, you know, whenever the water bucket, it's always empty.
Yeah. I can imagine.
So,
Okay.
and haul water, and haul it in barrels. And if lots of more wash, we'd go to the creek, put out washing.
Oh.
So it wasn't,
You made your own soap.
oh yeah, made live soap.
My mother was washed 2 days a week, every Monday and Tuesday. Take all day, Monday and Tuesday to wash.
For that many people?
Yeah.
Of course, those days, if you done all the sewing, you didn't buy nothing.
It was all rub board work, wasn't no.
You boil them in a wash pot.
Scrub them down and hang them out.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have like clotheslines, or did you spread them over trees, or?
Anywhere we just,
Anywhere.
most of the time I had clothesline, but
Sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't.
Okay, when y'all sat down to eat, did everybody eat at the same time, or did you have to?
sinless, yeah.
Yeah, well.
Big family gathering. What'd you usually talk about at the table? Did you have conversation?
Well, I guess we did, honey, but Lord, that's.
It's been a day or two?
Okay, and you made had your own milk and butter. And of course your meat, you had to raise it. You couldn't go to the grocery store those days in the hospital.
Yeah.
You had to have it, raise everything at home.
Okay. Let's see, and then Daddy, can you tell us something about trapping?
Trapping?
What you did for a living? when you were trapping? How did that work out? I mean, how'd that do? How do you do that?
Well, I don't hardly know, just set traps here and yonder, bait 'em.
In all kinds of weather, right? Mostly in the cold winter,
Yeah,
right?
Oh, yeah, it's
when the
all
fur
winter.
is good, that's in
Yeah,
the winter time.
thick fur.
Dig a little hole, set your trap, put a rag over it, cover it up, and put your bait. And hoping a cow will come get it.
Yeah. Is that mostly what you trapped for, is cows?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But you did catch other things like
Oh,
what?
yeah, skunk once in a while.
And that was badger once in a
Bobcat?
while. Well, I don't know, did
What?
bobcat, you ever catch anybody?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have that picture of him.
Oh, yeah.
Caught lots of them out there in Mexico.
Yeah, where all did you trap?
Texas, Mexico.
Okay. And then tell us what you do with the hides, what you had,
Sent 'em up to Kansas City to different buyers up there.
how'd you cure them though, or
Oh,
what was the process?
I just dried them out and wrapped them up and sent them off.
Oh, okay,
Didn't just dry them out before they dry, you know.
yeah. Okay. Okay, what else did you do besides trapping when you were young?
Cow punched,
Okay. Cattle drives?
yeah.
From where to where? Where'd you go?
Well, I done most of it out there in Mexico.
you went a time or two in Arizona, did you?
Yeah, but most of it.
On a cattle drive.
Uh-huh. And this is like in wagons and horses and
Yeah,
that's it? No
yeah.
cars?
We had chuck wagons, what's called chuck wagons.
Yeah.
Hard bedding and chuck your groceries in, horseshoes and things.
Isn't that amazing? It really is. These kids will
Had to
be,
shoe our own horses.
And it, lots of times they'd have stay up all night, keep the cattle from stampeding.
Uh-huh.
Once in a while they had a stampede.
okay, so before y'all got married, which was in what year again?
24.
1924. You did some housekeeping for some ranchers, didn't you?
Hey, Mom,
Yeah, a rancher here in Andrews.
$20 a month. Washed, cooked, kept the house, kept take care of the children.
For $20 a month. And then you got married and you did it for free.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, is that all that you did, really trapping and cow punching and
Farm.
farming?
Yeah. I guess
Were
that's
your
it.
three main jobs of your life?
Yeah.
Okay. And when did you actually start into farming? Would you say?
Well, that's,
23, I guess.
my son's 23.
1923. Okay.
Farmed on the hay.
And farmed for how many years? 50, 60?
Well, we was on the Fisher place. Well, you might say.
Well,
Well, it was up there 32 years, wasn't it?
yeah, when we were doing that, we'd already been farming
Mm-hmm.
ever since.
20, well, he started in 23 and we married in 24.
Yeah. Okay. Farmed until you retired and just stopped working.
When was it? I quit.
But it was 77, I think, the last crop we made.
Yeah, something like that.
We were down here, we moved down here on December the 27th, and we went to Hawaii, and we got, what,
I was 83 years old when I quit farming, I know that.
Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, let's see how this looks. Okay, can you tell us a little bit more about the cattle drives? You said that there was possibility of stampedes. What?
Well, is that going on there?
No, it's right here.
Huh?
Yeah, it's going on.
The outfit I was working for out there in Mexico, we went over to Arizona and got a train load of cattle one time. And, on the way back, they stampeded on us. And then we went to Grants, New Mexico and got a train load.
Well, how many trains were out in this part of the country, or, I mean, trains must have been few and far between, huh?
Oh,
In this part of the country.
Oh, lots
that
of
is out there in Mexico, he done
Yeah.
all that.
But even so, train tracks.
Well, they just had one track. you know,
One
and
track.
trained to run.
And they brought cattle. And
Used
y'all-
to, that didn't, that's the only way they could ship cattle, was on train.
our cattle drives.
Yeah, but of course, you couldn't drive them too awful far.
Yeah. What about sleeping? Like y'all didn't have anything to sleep in on cattle drives, right? You just slept out in the open in all kinds of
That's
weather.
all, just had a bunk bed and rolled out there and on the rocks, turf, is where we,
They,
Ooh.
they had a tarp
Uh-huh.
that they put their bed in, which kept, it was big enough to go under them and over them. And that kept the moisture from getting on them from the bottom.
you know, all beds had tarps those days. Wasn't no such thing as bed without a tarp.
What about when you were trapping? Didn't you live in a teepee occasionally?
Yeah,
And
yeah, we lived in a teepee.
something that you could just roll up and
That
put
was
on?
1918 when they was trapping, and they lived in that teepee, and it was snowing. They had snow all around them. It wasn't just like we had it. It was real snow.
Yeah. Like they're gonna have in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they stayed warm in
Yeah,
it?
they stayed warm, and then everybody else was having the flu, and they never did have the flu.
Oh. Did you light a fire in the middle of the teepee and?
Oh, no, we had a fire on the outside.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's
So there was really no way to heat the teepee
No,
other than.
lay on the ground, it's warm when you're laying right on the ground.
So where'd you get a teepee? Did you build it yourselves?
Or you bomb.
You bought them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Indians teepee.
From Indians? Did you buy them from Indians?
No, not from the Indians, but
They
everybody had one
used
out
to
there,
make
you
them
know.
all the time.
Oh.
And wagon sheet. When we traveled, in a wagon, they had bows over it with a wagon sheet over it, and they did on their wagon, and if they hauled their stuff in, they had it fixed where they could have a wagon sheet over it to keep the bedding dry.
Okay. And like you say you bought them, what kind of stores did you go to
Well,
buy
they-
things?
About like any store that handled
Dry
you
goods?
know.
Like a general store that had everything,
Yeah.
right? One store with
Really?
everything.
Those general stores that is just, they had a little of everything, but it was just a grocery store and everything combined.
Yeah.
They didn't have stores with just different things in them.
Yeah, specialized. Everything was in there, hanging on the walls and whatever. How often like you grew practically everything you ate, or you raised it, your beef, your pigs, or whatever. What
Chicken.
did you have to buy from a store ordinarily? Why did you have to go to a store at all?
Sugar,
Sugar,
flour.
flour, coffee. It's about the three main things that we bought in those days.
How about material for clothing?
Well, we usually ordered that from Sears and Roebuck.
Sears and Roebuck, even back then.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was about the main thing. We didn't go enough to buy stuff, you know, and we just ordered from Sears and Roebuck.
Like, how was the mail delivery then? Was it like if you placed an order with Sears and Roebuck, when could you expect it to come in? 3 months or?
You know, it come in it come to the nearest railroad.
Oh,
And then, of course, we was quite a ways from the railroad. And when Mama knew Daddy's going to go to the railroad, why, she'd make out an order.
okay.
Of course, I guess, I don't remember. Well, the mail fare, I guess, was in a hack. He couldn't haul very many packages.
What do you mean by a hack?
Well, just
Little buggy?
Bigger than a buggy.
Oh,
It's just a little bigger.
Between the buggy and the wagon.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. What were you saying about when y'all sold your cotton? Tell me about that. When you sold the cotton is when you had money to go to the store, which was how often?
Just in the fall when it's cotton.
Once a year.
Yeah.
That was your income.
Yeah. And of course, you didn't make very many bales those days because you had to do all your work with the teams. And
The horse teams.
Mhm.
Horses or
well,
mules.
Oh.
And whichever you had, you see. Well, I think Daddy usually had mules. Well, you didn't plant but just a few acres of cotton.
Yeah.
And the rest of it you had to plant on feed for those horses and stuff.
Okay.
Cattle. The hogs had to raise their corn for the hogs. And of course, those days they didn't raise the maize like they do nowadays.
Yeah.
When I was farming here in 23, started in 23, I hauled my cotton to Seminole in a wagon.
In a wagon. How long did it take you usually?
Day to go up there and a day to come back.
So you had to stay overnight.
Yeah.
And you're hauling it to the cotton gin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to get it jammed up there.
Well, that's about the way it was with us there in Oklahoma. Sometimes if Daddy had quite a bit of extras, sometimes it'd take 3 days if he had to do extra things when he went to town. Sometimes Mama would go with him.
I had 10 bales of cotton, 10 acres of cotton in 23, made 5 bales, and I picked it all myself.
Oh. Wow. One time I helped pick cotton. One time I remember.
Yeah, you couldn't wait to get that cotton sack, and when you got it, you and Daddy went out there, and I think you got 3 pounds, and you never had no more use for cotton sacks.
Oh, goodness. So you, I was going to say something, but now I can't remember what it was. Okay. Can you think of anything else that would be really interesting? Everything is interesting. I just can't believe, it's like something you read in a history book, and it's really happened to you two. It's what's so amazing. Tell us about the cars you had. Like before you got married, did your family have a car, Mother?
No.
No car, just
No
horse and
car.
buggy, horse and wagon.
Yeah.
Is how you got around.
They rode horses, and when the whole bunch went, we all went in a wagon. And the first car, I guess I was 6 or 7 years old, first car I ever saw.
Were you scared of it? Or did you?
In a way,
Yeah.
but it was something that they came from Hugo
Oklahoma.
through the Oklahoma there, and come right by our place. At the time, the road run right by our place.
Uh-huh.
And they had to, of course, they had to cross the creeks and no bridges or nothing. It was just,
Oh.
it was a Ford car, Cheering.
Uh-huh.
That's the first car I ever saw.
And then what have y'all had since?
Well, when we got married, we had old Calamity. It
No
was
Ford,
no Ford,
Model T
but
Ford.
no top on it, just a seat and a windshield. Just a seat. It just had one seat or two, did it? One seat and,
Okay.
and a windshield over it. That's what we had when we married.
Okay. So how'd you keep warm in the winter days when you had to go somewhere?
Well,
I
you
put on a lot of clothes.
put on lots of clothes and usually take something put over your legs.
Quilts and blankets and stuff like that. You didn't heat up bricks and put it in the bottom for your feet to rest on?
We didn't go.
Yeah.
If we had, unless it was absolutely necessary, we didn't go.
Yeah. What did you do for entertainment? Since you didn't go places, what was your form of entertainment when you were little? I mean, what did you do for fun or?
Well, we got out in the yard and played and just made up our own games.
Okay.
And Well, we'd take sticks and put corn cobs on them and throw them.
You went swimming in the
Oh,
creek.
yeah, we went swimming.
Did you?
And the bathtub, lots of times, we'd grab a bar of soap and go to the creek and take her bath.
When I think of these things and then I forget what I'm going to say. Like whenever you didn't have electricity. How'd you light up your house at
We
night?
had coal oil lamps.
Coal oil lamp.
Coal oil lamps.
And you went to bed really early, right? Usually.
Well, most of the time, because,
Say you were in bed by what time? Usually on a normal,
oh goodness, I guess,
shortly after sundown.
yeah, I imagine so, because, you know, the time that Daddy'd usually get up around 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
a lot of times, and go feed his mules, and time daylight come, well, he's ready to go to the field.
Yeah. So the guys, the boys' chores not only included the feeding and of the animals and what have you, but the plowing of the fields and the planting and all
Well,
that.
the girls had to help too, don't
The
they?
girls did too.
Well, see, George was on the one, and the girls were older than Agnes and Ivy were older than George.
Yeah.
And that way, well, they done more plowing than he did because they were older. And,
So y'all just all had to do everything.
yeah.
That's Oklahoma.
Yeah,
What
that's-
about you?
I don't remember doing anything.
Oh, you know you did though.
Well, I can remember, you know, that in Oklahoma because it was so inconvenient. Of course, we had to haul water even down after we moved to Texas.
Yeah. Did y'all have always have windmills out here? Since you've been married, did you have windmills or did you have to have hand pumps or what?
We all had, all the time we had a hand pump was out there in Mexico before Margaret was born.
Okay. All right. I can't think of anything else to ask right now.
And there at home, we would go fishing pretty often, and they'd set, they'd use nets, you know, catch a fish and set out trot lines. I remember, and they went gigging, what they call gigging. They had things fixed, or gig to fix on a long handle, and at night, and they'd put a fire up in the middle of the boat, and of course, the fish had come to the light. And I can remember Daddy come in one night with a fish hanging on the saddle horn, and the tail was dragging
A big one.
the ground.
Catfish?
Mhm. Big catfish.
Ooh, that's pretty tall. I mean,
And
that's
there in Oklahoma, they'd have what they call a log rolling. That would, men would help the ones that was given a log rolling trim off clear off their fields. And that night then, why, they'd give a big dance.
there's your entertainment.
Mhm.
Yeah. And Daddy danced a lot too, I know.
Yeah, he danced, but that was before we ever.
Yeah.
But I remember I was just a little old kid, of course, at that time, and but I remember Daddy, they fixed a platform. Daddy always had lumber, but and he'd fixed a big platform for it. And,
Where did he always, how come he always had lumber?
well, I don't know. He always had enough lumber to do whatever he wanted to do. I know we had a stack of lumber, about 8 feet high, and as big as this room there in Oklahoma. He's going to build some more on the house, but he never did get to it. We just had 3 rooms and a porch.
Yeah, that's something interesting is how many people slept in very small flat houses. You had a kitchen, usually the bathrooms were outside,
Oh, yeah.
and 1 or 2 bedrooms. 2 bedrooms usually.
Yeah, too bad.
And no living room really, or did
No,
you?
don't
The
used
kitchen.
to, honey. We didn't have things to sit on. If we had company, they sat on the side of the bed.
Oh. How many people slept in a bed?
3 or 4.
3 or 4 to a bed. Oh, gosh.
Nowadays, each
Everybody
Kid
has their
has
own
to
room
have-
and their own bathroom, technically. What about, you went to a lot of rodeos for entertainment, didn't you, Daddy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
And
went,
dances after rodeos?
I think Magdalena, they had a rodeo after World War One. Soldier boys all come home.
Yeah, Magdalena's in New Mexico,
Yeah.
right?
They had a big rodeo.
Okay. And like when we were little, y'all got together with neighbors and had dances, and you just brought the kids, and all the kids just went to bed, right, in a room. Just lay the kids down.
Lots of- Well, it was after the girls got old enough, the oldest girls got old enough to dance,
Mhm.
we went to dance.
All right. And how long did it usually take you to get, how far away were neighbors usually? I guess since you've been in Andrews. What were your,
What?
how far away, how many miles distance between you and your nearest neighbor since you'd lived in Andrews and been married?
Fishers was our closest neighbor when we first married, and then
They're about what, they were
Mile.
only a mile? Oh,
They just a mile.
Underwoods,
yeah,
but they're 2 or 3.
2 or 3 miles. But it took a while to cover that distance.
Oh, yeah.
And
And used to, when we went visiting, we'd go get up early and go stay all day. Nowadays, they don't have time to visit.
a prime example. Stay all day and have your meals together, and there was always plenty of food, seems like.
We used to go in wagons when we went anywhere and finally got a buggy. Oh, we was up in high class, we got that buggy.
A buggy, does that mean it had cover
Mhm.
over it?
It had a top on
Oh, how many people would it hold, a buggy?
Uh,
it. We just had the one seat.
Oh, really?
Just a one seat buggy, and of course the kids was all little when we had that. And then we could have, I think we had the jump cart before we got the buggy, didn't we? Anyhow, it was just 2 wagon wheels with a bed and a spring seat on it.
Oh, and
That's
they
what
were
we call
rough
a jump.
riding.
Huh?
Did they feel like you were jumping all around when you rode in them? Like,
Well, it is pretty rough.
Pretty
There's
rough.
arm wheels, you see.
yeah.
Nowadays, you put one in with a rubber wheels on it, wouldn't be so bad.
Oh, yeah, the wheels were metal,
Mm-hmm.
solid iron.
You know, they had a, it might have been wood spokes, but they had the iron band around them.
Yeah.
It wasn't no, it didn't give. Whenever you went over a bump.
Oh, gosh. Okay, well,